The Incredible Dr. Sabino. A story of cunning, luck and the power of appearances. Once upon a time, in a forgotten corner between the Green Mountains and the sunflower fields, there lived a simple man named Joka Malheros. He worked as a bamboo cutter. Tall, thin, and tanned by the sun, he spent his days cutting trails in the forest, collecting long, fragrant bundles that he would then tie together with braided vines. His only luxury was a wooden cart that creaked like an old door, pulled by two grumpy donkeys, Corisco and Tempestade. Every week, very early in the morning, Joka would cross the valleys towards Villa do Sol to sell firewood and bamboo at the market. He was a man with few dreams, perhaps a new canvas for his cart, or perhaps a kettle that would not leave a rusty taste in his tea. But on that particular day, fate decided to play with the wind and change his route. At the fair, while he was tying the bundles for display, a distinguished gentleman approached him. He had the bearing of a count and a felt hat that must have cost more than all the gold teeth in the village. It was Dr. Murillo. His words came out like violin music, slow, brilliant, polite right down to the last full stop. Subscribe to the channel, and stay with us until the end. Good morning, my good man. Are you selling this bamboo? Yes, sir. I'm selling it. I'll take it all. Here are 5 shiny coins. And he handed over the coins as if offering candy. But what caught Joka's attention wasn't the payment, but the scene he witnessed right afterward. The doctor sat down in the shade of a tree, spread an embroidered tablecloth, and ate dinner like a miniature king. He used silver cutlery, cut the bread with ceremony, and each gesture was so precise that it seemed choreographed. It was at that moment that something lit up inside Joka. An old and almost forgotten spark, the desire to be more, to be someone. Could I also be a doctor? He asked, his voice somewhere between astonishment and hope. The doctor smiled with theatrical kindness. Of course. It's easy. All you need to do is follow a few steps. First, buy a little book with a toucan on the cover, it's essential. Then, sell your cart and donkeys. Use the money to buy nice, well-ironed clothes and a hat that says, Wisdom. Finally, have a sign made with gold letters, Here lives Dr. Sabino, the wisest of wise men. Nail it to your door, sit down, and wait. The world will come to you. Joka, who had never said no to a piece of advice that shone, did everything to the letter. He sold his faithful donkeys with a heavy heart, bought second-hand clothes that still smelled of mothballs, and a hat so tall that it cast a shadow on the ground. He had the sign made and stuck it to the door with flour glue. Thus, with a dose of naivety and a touch of theater, the legendary Dr. Sabino was born. What Joka didn't know, and perhaps neither did fate, was that, a few leagues away, in the city of mountains, a chest of coins had disappeared from inside the castle of a powerful merchant. Despair, commotion, servants accusing, shadows accusing the wind. It was then that someone whispered. They say there is a doctor in a nearby village, a certain Sabino, they say he sees what no one else sees. The merchant, already on the verge of madness, sent a delegation with white horses and golden knights to fetch the famous doctor. When Sabino arrived, accompanied by his wife, Donna Celeste, who was now wearing a dress with a ribbon bow and lavender perfume, he was welcomed like a prophet. The entire castle stopped. All eyes wanted to see if this man really knew the secrets of the world. Dr. Sabino, said the merchant, in a grave voice, I ask for your help to find my lost treasure. Sabino smiled, with the air of someone expecting something much more difficult. That night, in the castle's great hall, each dish seemed like a challenge. The first butler came in with a silver tray. Sabino, not knowing what to say and just wanting to keep his pose, whispered to Celeste. This is the first. The servant turned pale. He was the first of those who had stolen the chest. He left in a hurry and ran to warn the others. He knows. He said I was the first. The second one came in, tense. Sabino, distracted, pointed at his spoon and said. This seems to be the second. More panic. The third one shivered. And when the fourth servant appeared with a covered dish, the merchant challenged him. Guess what's here? Sabino, more concerned with the itch on his collar than with riddles, murmured. Poor Sabino. When he took off the lid, there were crayfish, which in the region were called sabins. Everyone at the table looked at each other. He knows. The merchant exclaimed, amazed. He even predicted the names of the creatures. In a dark corner of the kitchen, one of the servants, trembling like a leaf, pulled Sabino aside. You won. We know you discovered everything. But, if you spare us, we can share the treasure. Sabino, trying to maintain a wise expression while sweating under his jacket, nodded with dignity. Show me where it is. There was the chest, buried under the chicken coop. Later, already leafing through the famous little book of the toucan, which he didn't understand even half of, Sabino grumbled. I know you're there, you better show up. The fifth servant, who had heard everything from behind the stove, thought it was him and jumped up in panic. He really knows everything. At the end of the night, Sabino revealed to the merchant the exact whereabouts of the treasure, without mentioning the names of the culprits. He was rewarded with a smaller chest, but still heavy with coins, and left the castle to applause, hugs and even bows. From that day on, the world knew him as Dr. Sabino, the wisest of wise men. But he knew, and so did Celeste, that sometimes, all it takes to change your life is a little courage, a good dose of theater, and a little book with a toucan on the cover. If you liked this video, help us by subscribing to the channel, liking and sharing.